A journey into the impossible relics of our forgotten past. Beneath the scorching deserts of Egypt, 25 colossal granite containers remain entombed, each one carrying a staggering weight of 100 tons. Across the vast continent of Asia, an iron monolith rises toward the heavens in India, standing defiant against 16 centuries of relentless weather, while our most advanced modern steel crumbles into reddish-brown decay within mere decades. And hidden beneath the dusty soils of Iraq, an astonishing electrical device was unearthed. A contraption assembled fully 2,000 years before the celebrated Italian physicist Alessandro Volta presented his famous battery to the world. These are not legends whispered around campfires or fantasies spun from overactive imaginations. These are tangible, verifiable objects that exist in our world today. Yet they refuse to find comfortable homes within the pages of our standard history textbooks. Why? Because those textbooks were composed by scholars who never laid eyes upon these marvels, who never held them in their hands or studied them with genuine curiosity. They were written by individuals who made assumptions, who fit evidence into preconceived frameworks, and who ignored anything that threatened their neat chronological timelines. Today, we embark upon an extraordinary expedition through time and across continents. We shall examine 7 genuine ancient discoveries, each one so remarkable, so technologically sophisticated, that they appear to have been carelessly abandoned by visitors from distant futures, who forgot to retrieve them before departing. These objects challenge our fundamental understanding of human capability. They mock our assumptions about primitive ancestors, and they force us to reconsider everything we thought we knew about the trajectory of civilization. What makes these artifacts even more compelling is their accessibility. Every single one of these 7 wonders can be physically touched by human hands. They are not mythical constructions lost to the ages or speculative reconstructions based on fragmentary evidence. Each object is carefully preserved within a real museum, waiting patiently for curious visitors to approach and bear witness to their impossible existence. And every single one demolishes the comfortable, familiar narrative of our collective past that we have been taught since childhood. Our journey begins with the most physically imposing mystery, the one that carries the greatest literal weight. We descend into the shadowy underground chambers of Egypt, where French archaeologists in the mid-19th century stumbled upon something that would forever alter our perception of ancient capabilities. But before we venture into those dark corridors, consider this profound question that echoes through the ages. What other secrets lie buried beneath our feet, waiting for the right moment to shatter everything we believe we know? The colossal granite enigma beneath Egyptian sands. The year is 1850, and the location is Saqqara, the vast necropolis serving the ancient Egyptian capital of Memphis. French archaeologist Auguste Mariette, a dedicated explorer of antiquities, found himself wandering across the endless sands to the northwest of the majestic pyramid of Djoser, the oldest colossal stone building in existence. His trained eyes caught something unusual protruding from the golden dunes. A carved stone sphinx, half buried in the shifting desert floor. As his team began excavating, they uncovered not just one sphinx, but an entire grand avenue of these mythical guardians, their weathered faces gazing eternally toward the horizon. The path they formed, led inexorably toward a hidden entrance, a portal carved into the living rock that descended into the Earth's mysterious depths. When Mariette's determined workforce finally breached the sealed passages, they encountered obstacles of extraordinary resilience. The ancient builders had sealed these corridors with such thoroughness that dynamite became necessary for advancement. Behind those stone barriers, however, lay a revelation that would haunt archaeologists for generations. A labyrinthine network of elongated tunnels carved directly through the region's natural limestone foundations. These passages stretched endlessly into darkness, their walls bearing the unmistakable marks of impossible craftsmanship. Within the most expansive gallery, an absolutely staggering sight awaited the astonished explorers. Positioned along both sides of the corridor, perfectly aligned with mathematical precision, stood 25 enormous containers crafted from black and pink granite. These were not simple boxes or crude storage vessels. Each measured 4 meters in length, 2.5 meters in width, and 3 1/3 meters in height. Dimensions that would challenge modern engineering capabilities. The separate lid for each container tipped the scales at 30 tons entirely on its own. When combined with the main body, the total weight approached the staggering sum of 100 tons, equivalent to a fully laden railway carriage, yet somehow squeezed into cramped underground niches with barely 40 centimeters of clearance on any side. When Mariette employed explosives to breach the interior of one container, expecting perhaps to discover the mummified remains of sacred creatures, he found nothing but empty space. The walls gleamed with mirror-smooth perfection, and absolute emptiness reigned within. This vacuum of contents would become one of the most puzzling aspects of the entire discovery. Official archaeological doctrine identifies this location as the Serapeum, a sacred burial ground for the Apis bulls, manifestations of the god Ptah. According to established theory, these massive granite boxes served as sarcophagi for these revered animals. The problem with this explanation, however, is immediately apparent. Despite extensive examination, none of the opened containers contained any trace whatsoever of bovine remains. There were no bones, no mummified tissues, no funerary wrappings, no residue of embalming fluids. Nothing but perfect emptiness. Instead of mummies, the investigators discovered something far more unsettling, a level of stoneworking precision that borders on the supernatural. Engineer Christopher Dunn, who dedicated 49 years of his career to high-technology manufacturing, brought his industrial expertise to bear upon these mysterious containers. Using precision gauges accurate to within 2/10,000ths of an inch, he measured the interior surfaces with extraordinary care. The results defied all reasonable explanations. The flatness of the walls reached levels that modern engineering can only achieve through computer numerical controlled machining. The corners formed perfect right angles with razor-sharp accuracy, and the radius in each internal corner measured a mere 4 millimeters. When Dunn approached a prominent American manufacturing firm with a request, could they replicate one of these containers from a single piece of granite, regardless of cost? The response was immediate and devastating. Even with unlimited financial resources, such an object would require assembly from 6 separate slabs. The ancient Egyptian craftsmen, however, had carved each container from a single massive monolith. These stones were quarried 800 kilometers distant at Aswan, then transported across unforgiving terrain and lowered into impossibly confined spaces. with no visible means of doing so. The granite itself presents additional mysteries. Most of the boxes register 6 on the Mohs hardness scale, already challenging for ancient tools. Some examples, however, are fashioned from diorite, an even harder stone that would have been practically impossible to work with primitive copper implements. The tunnels containing these behemoths are so narrow that 2 individuals can barely pass each other. There exists no space whatsoever for complex lifting apparatus, no room for levers or pulleys, no area for large teams of workers to coordinate their efforts. The ancient Egyptians, according to our historical understanding, possessed no hydraulic machinery capable of such feats. In the midst of this underground wonderland sits one incomplete container, abandoned midway along the tunnel, as if the builders simply walked away and never returned. Its presence raises haunting questions about what circumstances could cause ancient craftsmen to leave such a valuable creation behind. The exterior surfaces bear crudely incised hieroglyphic inscriptions that appear almost primitive compared to the breathtaking interior polish. One cannot escape the impression that these markings were applied by entirely different people, perhaps thousands of years after the containers themselves were manufactured. It seems as though the original creators possessed capabilities so far beyond their officially recognized civilization that their descendants could not even understand, let alone replicate, what had been achieved. What possible purpose could justify such surgical accuracy for supposedly housing a dead bull? The question reverberates through the corridors of archaeology, with no satisfactory answer forthcoming. The ancient computer dredged from ocean depths, our second mystery transports us from Egypt's dusty underground chambers to the sun-drenched waters of the Mediterranean Sea. The year is 1901, and a crew of Greek sponge divers finds themselves caught in treacherous weather near the tiny island of Antikythera. With time to spare while waiting for conditions to improve, the captain dispatched a diver to the seabed to investigate what might lie below. The man descended into the depths, and when he emerged, his face bore an expression of absolute terror. He screamed about encountering dead bodies at 60 meters beneath the surface. The captain descended personally to investigate, and what he discovered was not a cemetery, but the wreckage of an ancient Roman merchant vessel that had sunk approximately 2,000 years earlier. The dead bodies that had so frightened the diver were in fact exquisite marble statues that had been resting on the ocean floor for 20 centuries. Among the scattered sculptures and thousands of coins lay a seemingly insignificant lump of greenish bronze, unremarkable and easily overlooked. This bronze fragment remained neglected in a storage crate at the National Museum in Athens for 2 full years. It gathered dust while scholars examined the more visually impressive statues from the wreck. Then, an observant politician named Spiridon Stais noticed something peculiar. A hairline crack in the corroded bronze surface. Peering through this minute opening, he glimpsed something that made his heart race. A gear wheel, perfectly formed, precisely cut, utterly impossible in an object dating from antiquity. The newspapers trumpeted the discovery as the greatest archaeological sensation of the age. Skeptics immediately denounced the find as an elaborate hoax, a forgery designed to bring fame and fortune to its discoverers. Only when modern X-ray tomography became available in the early 21st century could the truth finally be established beyond doubt. The interior of this unassuming bronze mechanism contained an astonishing system of 37 interlocking gear wheels, the largest measuring 13 centimeters across and carrying 223 precisely formed teeth. The entire device, roughly the dimensions of a modern laptop computer, served as an astronomical calculator of breathtaking sophistication. It computed the positions of the sun, the moon, and the 5 planets visible to naked eye observation. It predicted both solar and lunar eclipses with remarkable accuracy. It tracked the cycles of the ancient Olympic Games, the most important athletic competition in the Greek world, and displayed the phases of the lunar cycle through a complex pointer system. European science did not achieve comparable computational accuracy until approximately 500 years after this device was fabricated. The mechanism incorporated an understanding that the moon accelerates and decelerates along different portions of its elliptical orbit, requiring a differential gear arrangement. Precisely the same engineering solution that allows modern automotive wheels to rotate at different speeds when a vehicle turns a corner. Each individual tooth on every gear wheel was cut with a precision that would be impossible to achieve using manual tools. The triangular teeth appear identical to the naked eye, as if mass-produced by industrial stamping. Recent tomographic analysis has revealed that the back panel of the device originally bore detailed operational instructions, essentially a user manual for this ancient computer. The front panel once displayed colorful markers representing different celestial bodies: fiery red spheres for Mars, gleaming gold for the Sun. Researchers from University College London have described the original craftsman as a genius who synthesized Babylonian astronomical observations with the refined mathematical traditions of Plato's philosophical academy. Whoever constructed this instrument possessed understanding of the cosmos that the rest of humanity would only begin to approach after another 20 centuries of intellectual development. Remarkably, the Roman orator Cicero, writing in the 1st century before the Christian era, described encountering a similar device in his own time. An astronomical mechanism created by the legendary inventor Archimedes in Syracuse. This suggests that the Antikythera mechanism was far from unique. It represented the sole surviving example of an entire technological tradition, a school of precision engineering that flourished in the ancient Mediterranean, but then vanished without trace, leaving behind only the single bronze witness to its achievements. The ancient Greeks managed to compress the entire celestial sphere into a compact bronze container. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of the known world, Indian metalworkers were accomplishing something equally impossible, with a different material entirely. The iron column that refuses to rust in the courtyard of the Quwwat-ul-Islam Mosque complex in Delhi, India, a monument of extraordinary durability, stands as a silent sentinel against the ravages of time. This is the Iron Pillar of Delhi, towering to a height of 7 meters and 20 centimeters, weighing more than 6 metric tons. Sanskrit inscriptions on its surface connect it to the reign of King Chandragupta II of the Gupta dynasty, dating its construction to the 1st century of the Christian era. For 16 uninterrupted centuries, this enormous iron artifact has remained exposed to the fierce elements of India's climate, monsoon rains that drench the land for months, brutal sunlight that bakes the stone pavement, and atmospheric humidity that corrodes ordinary metals within a few years. Modern steel structures in the same environment develop thick layers of rust in alarmingly short periods. The Eiffel Tower in Paris, for instance, requires repainting every 7 years to prevent destructive corrosion. Yet this ancient iron column exhibits almost no rust whatsoever after nearly 2 millennia of exposure. In the 10th century, a cannonball struck the pillar during a military engagement. Rather than shattering or collapsing, the ancient metal absorbed the impact, displaying only a single dent at the 4-meter height. This remarkable resilience only added to the mystery surrounding the object's composition and manufacturing process. Attempts to unlock the secret of the pillar's corrosion resistance have occupied scientists since 1912, when British chemists first collected samples for analysis. The definitive breakthrough, however, did not arrive until 2003, when Professor Balakrishnan and his team from the prestigious Institute of Technology in Kanpur published their comprehensive investigation. Using advanced techniques, including X-ray diffraction, electrochemical testing, and electron microscopy, they finally unraveled the metallurgical mystery that had baffled generations of researchers. The iron composing the pillar contains approximately 1% phosphorus, a relatively high concentration for ferrous metals. Simultaneously, it contains almost no sulfur or magnesium, impurities that typically accelerate corrosion in conventional steel. This unique composition triggers a chemical reaction on the surface of the metal, forming a thin layer of crystalline iron phosphate, measuring roughly 1/10 of a millimeter in thickness. This invisible barrier operates as a self-healing shield, repairing microscopic cracks during the repeated cycles of wetting and drying that characterize Delhi's climate. Each rainfall actually strengthens the protective layer rather than damaging it. In practical terms, the ancient Indian blacksmiths succeeded in creating a natural equivalent to stainless steel. 15 centuries before the official invention of modern stainless alloys in the 20th century. They accomplished this through forge welding techniques, carefully heating and hammering the iron to preserve its phosphorus content. Working without precision instruments, without chemical knowledge, without any of the educational foundations that we consider essential for such sophisticated materials engineering. Modern metallurgy, despite our advanced understanding of chemistry and materials science, has still failed to precisely replicate the exact combination of composition and durability demonstrated by this remarkable artifact. 6 tons of unprotected iron continue to defy the elements, winning a battle against oxidation that modern industrial processes routinely lose. The pillar stands today as a testament to knowledge that has been lost and may never be fully recovered. The Roman cup that changes color like magic while Indian metalworkers were perfecting their corrosion-resistant iron, Roman glassmakers were achieving something equally impossible. They were manipulating light itself. Within the British Museum, carefully protected behind armored glass, rests the Lycurgus Cup, the only intact example of dichroic glass surviving from antiquity. When viewed from the front with light falling directly upon its surface, this remarkable vessel appears a translucent green, the color of fine jade. When light passes through the glass from behind, however, the identical material transforms into a brilliant ruby red that seems to glow from within. No dyes, no pigments, No surface coatings produce this dramatic color shift. The secret lies entirely within the microscopic structure of the glass itself. The surface of the cup carries an intricate relief carving depicting the mythical king Lycurgus entangled in grapevines, while the god Dionysus observes his demise. This artwork was executed in the elaborate cage cup technique, which involved casting a thick block of glass and then carefully cutting away material until only a delicate openwork lattice remained. Yet the color-changing effect is not related to this carving. It emerges from the very substance of the glass. The solution to this puzzle emerged in the 1990s, when fragments of similar Roman glass were examined under electron microscopes. Researchers discovered that the glass contained particles of a gold-silver alloy, measuring approximately 50 nanometers in diameter, a scale 1,000 times smaller than a grain of table salt. When light strikes these microscopic metallic inclusions, the electrons within the metal begin to oscillate rhythmically, altering the wavelength of the transmitted or reflected light. Silver particles produce green color when light reflects from them, while gold particles produce red when light passes through them. This effect, known as plasmonic resonance, finds extensive application in modern technologies, including advanced sensors, medical diagnostic equipment, and holographic imaging systems. Roman craftsmen achieved precisely the same result by grinding gold and silver into particles invisible to the naked eye, then melting these metallic nanoparticles into glass in exact proportions. They accomplished this feat without microscopes, without lasers, without any understanding of the quantum physics that would eventually explain the phenomenon. Scientists at Cambridge University only managed to reproduce a similar effect in the year 2014, creating arrays containing 16 million nanoparticles per square millimeter. The Romans achieved comparable results 16 centuries earlier, working by simple trial and error, guided by an intuitive understanding of materials that modern science is only beginning to appreciate. The manufacturing secrets of the Lycurgus Cup died along with the Roman Empire, leaving this solitary vessel as the sole complete witness to an entire tradition of nanotechnological glassmaking. Today, researchers explore ways to apply this ancient principle to create ultra-sensitive detectors capable of identifying trace contaminants in water supplies. A technology originally developed for decorative luxury vessels may eventually help save millions of lives. 17 centuries after its initial invention, the ancient battery that predated Volta while the Romans were mastering optical phenomena, their Eastern contemporaries may have been experimenting with electricity itself. In 1936, construction workers excavating a railway line near Baghdad, Iraq, uncovered an ancient Parthian burial site. This location lay not far from the ruins of Ctesiphon, the magnificent capital of the Parthian Empire that once dominated the region. Among the various artifacts recovered from this site was a simple clay jar standing approximately 14 centimeters in height. Inside this unassuming vessel rested a copper cylinder, and suspended within this cylinder hung an iron rod, carefully positioned so that it did not contact the copper walls. The neck of the jar was sealed with a bitumen stopper, creating what appeared to be a complete electrical circuit, waiting to be activated. Wilhelm Nigg, director of the National Museum of Iraq, immediately recognized this configuration. The two different metals with their distinct electrochemical potentials, separated by a space capable of holding a liquid electrolyte, formed precisely the arrangement known to produce electrical current through chemical reaction. Corrosion residues on the interior walls suggested the presence of acidic substances, most likely vinegar or fermented grape juice, both readily available in antiquity. American scientist Willard Gray, intrigued by Nigg's hypothesis, constructed an exact replica of the Baghdad artifact, using identical materials and dimensions. He filled his reproduction with grape juice and connected measuring instruments to the electrodes. To the amazement of observers, the ancient technology functioned exactly as predicted. The device produced a measurable electrical current of approximately 1 volt, a modest but undeniable output. Multiple such vessels connected together could generate sufficient electrical power for electroplating. The process of depositing thin layers of gold onto jewelry or other metal objects. Similar devices discovered in nearby Seleucia were found accompanied by bronze and iron needles, suggesting possible practical applications in ancient life. The Roman physician Scribonius Largus, writing in the 1st century of the Common Era, described treating gout patients by applying electric rays, the torpedo fish, directly to their feet. The therapeutic use of electrical current was clearly documented in ancient medical literature, long before scientific understanding of electricity emerged. The Baghdad Battery thus predates the official invention of the first chemical battery by Volta by approximately 16 centuries. This is not a marginal adjustment to the timeline of technology, but a complete rewriting of our understanding of ancient capabilities. Tragically, in 2003, the original Baghdad Battery was stolen from the National Museum of Iraq during the chaos of the American invasion. Its current whereabouts remain unknown. The archaeological community has lost perhaps the oldest electrical device ever discovered, and cannot even conduct the modern scientific analysis that might finally resolve the questions surrounding its function. The stone turbine from the dawn of civilization, our journey now returns to Egypt, but to an artifact far smaller than the granite containers we encountered earlier. This object fits conveniently on an ordinary dinner table and resembles a component from a modern machine shop. In 1936, archaeologist Walter Emery was excavating the tomb of the official Sabu in the Saqqara necropolis. Beside the skeletal remains of this ancient administrator lay a cracked stone disc measuring 61 centimeters in diameter. This remarkable artifact had been carved from metasedimentary rock, a material so fragile that it flakes and crumbles at the slightest careless touch. The disc featured 3 gracefully curved blades radiating from a central hub, creating a form indistinguishable from the impeller of an industrial centrifugal pump. From above, the object appears identical to components used in modern fluid handling equipment. The tomb containing this artifact dates to approximately 5,000 years ago, the first dynasty of Egypt, when the most advanced tools available were made of stone and soft copper. The question that immediately arises, and that no one can answer, involves how ancient craftspeople could possibly have shaped such delicate blades from such brittle material without creating any visible chips, cracks, or fractures. The precision required to produce this object far exceeds anything we associate with early dynastic Egypt. The rock is so fragile that modern sculptors would hesitate to attempt such work using the finest contemporary equipment. An enthusiast produced a 3-dimensional printed copy of the disc and mounted it within a housing fitted with a drive shaft. When rotated, this replica began pumping water with remarkable efficiency, functioning exactly as a modern centrifugal impeller would perform. Without the surrounding housing, the spinning disc generated a water vortex of such power and stability that coincidence of form becomes essentially impossible to argue. The design simply proves too functional for its appearance to be accidental. Even engineers from the prominent Airbus Corporation tested printed copies of the disc and confirmed its aerodynamic properties. They noted that while the disc cannot serve effectively as a propeller, its shape and behavior are consistent with impeller function. Renowned Egyptologist Cyril Aldred observed that the disc's form strongly suggests it represents a copy of an original metal object, much older and presumably more functional. If the Sabu Disk indeed constitutes a model or representation of a lost mechanism, then we are confronting evidence of sophisticated engineering thought from a period before recorded history began. 5,000 years before the present, someone living in the Nile Valley understood centrifugal force and its application to water pumping. This knowledge then vanished from human memory, dissolving into desert sands along with the identity of its inventor. The technology would not be rediscovered independently until much later civilizations emerged. The Terracotta Army's unrustable weapons, our final artifact, does not hide underground or remain confined to museum display cases. It stands openly before thousands of daily visitors near the Chinese city of Xi'an. In 1974, local peasants digging a well came upon fragments of fired clay figures. This accidental discovery initiated the excavation of the Terracotta Army, a vast collection of more than 8,000 life-sized warriors crafted from baked clay. Each warrior stands at human height, and remarkably, no two faces are identical across the entire army. This level of individualized portraiture was achieved using only 8 basic face templates, modified through careful application of clay details. These soldiers guarded the burial complex of Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor to unify China, whose construction project mobilized an estimated 700,000 workers over decades of effort. Despite the enormous scale of this site, less than 1% of the entire complex has been excavated to date. The true archaeological sensation, however, emerged not from the statues themselves, but from their accompanying weaponry. Excavations recovered more than 40,000 bronze arrowheads, swords measuring up to 95 centimeters in length, spears, and sophisticated crossbow mechanisms. After 22 centuries underground, these weapons appeared freshly forged, their blades gleaming with metallic brilliance, and their edges remaining dangerously sharp. For 40 years, scientists attributed this remarkable preservation to a specialized surface coating discovered on the bronze. Traces of chromium, the element used in modern stainless steel production, were detected on the weapons. Chromium plating was patented in Europe only in the 20th century, so the ancient discovery of this technology seemed revolutionary. The find appeared to push the date of advanced metallurgy back by millennia. However, a joint investigation conducted in 2019 by University College London and the Terracotta Army Museum completely overturned this interpretation. The chromium found on the swords proved to be contamination from lacquer used to coat wooden handles and bamboo shafts. It had absolutely no connection to preserving the bronze weaponry. The true secret of the weapon's remarkable condition lay in entirely different factors. The bronze alloy contained unusually high proportions of tin, providing inherent corrosion resistance. More significantly, the local soil composition proved ideal for metal preservation. The alkaline loess, characterized by fine particles and minimal organic content, created a perfectly balanced chemical environment that inhibited rust formation. When modern replicas of the ancient bronze were buried in local Chinese soil for 4 months of extreme environmental testing, they remained completely untouched by corrosion. Identical samples buried in British soil during the same period became extensively corroded and degraded. The Qin dynasty craftsmen, working 22 centuries before modern chemistry, somehow selected the exact alloy composition and burial environment combination that would preserve their weapons through millennia. They understood materials at an intuitive level that allowed them to create artifacts capable of outlasting every empire that arose after their own dynasty fell. 40,000 blades lay in the darkness beneath the earth, waiting patiently through the centuries as dynasties rose and fell, as empires expanded and contracted, as the entire course of human civilization unfolded above them. They waited like an order that was never cancelled. Throughout this extraordinary expedition, we have traversed underground labyrinths beneath Egypt's ancient sands. We have descended to the Mediterranean seabed, where a 2,000-year-old computer rested among sculptures scattered across the ocean floor. We have stood in contemplation before an Indian iron pillar that has resisted rust for 16 centuries. We have peered inside a Roman cup where nanoparticles dance and shimmer with impossible colors. We have held in our imaginations a battery assembled 2,000 years before its official invention. We have examined a stone turbine 5,000 years old. And we have marveled at the astonishing preservation of an army's worth of bronze weaponry, buried for more than 2 millennia. Every one of these discoveries is thoroughly documented by legitimate archaeological research. Each object resides in a museum that you can visit tomorrow if you choose. These are not artifacts requiring supernatural explanations or extraterrestrial intervention. They demand no alien visitors for comprehension. What they require is something far more challenging: the courage to acknowledge an inconvenient truth that our comfortable historical narratives have attempted to suppress. Our ancestors possessed knowledge, skills, and understanding that we are only beginning to rediscover after thousands of years of forgetting. We describe their achievements as impossible, miraculous, or inexplicable. Yet to the individuals who created these objects, they were simply the ordinary practice of their crafts. The craftspeople who fabricated the granite boxes of Saqqara, the gear-cutting genius who assembled the Antikythera Mechanism, the Indian blacksmiths who mastered phosphorus metallurgy, the Roman glassmakers who manipulated nanoparticles, the Parthian electrical experimenters, the Egyptian hydraulic engineers, and the Chinese weaponsmiths who selected the perfect alloy for survival. All these individuals worked within their own traditions of accumulated knowledge that we have lost and may never recover. The history of human achievement is not a smooth upward line of continuous progress. It is a spiral, each turn around the circle bringing us back to a point of ignorance that our predecessors had already passed. The true mystery is not how these ancient people accomplished their extraordinary feats. The true mystery is why we, with all our advanced technology, Our computers and microscopes and analytical instruments have allowed this knowledge to slip from our grasp. If you found yourself captivated by these revelations, if you feel that ordinary history channels present too superficial and sanitized a version of our past, then you belong among those who dig deeper. You belong among those who ask uncomfortable questions and refuse to accept comfortable answers. Subscribe to Forbidden Fathoms and join us on our continuing exploration of mysteries that textbooks fear to address. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Which of these 7 impossible artifacts astonished you most deeply? What other ancient mysteries do you believe are waiting beneath the soil, beneath the waters, beneath the sands of time for their moment to be revealed? Your voice is part of this investigation, and your perspectives enrich our collective understanding. The sands of time continue to shift, and each year brings new discoveries that challenge what we thought we knew. The next astonishing artifact may be uncovered tomorrow, and we want you to be there when it emerges from darkness into the light. Together we can reconstruct the true story of human capability, one impossible artifact at a time. Together we can honor the lost knowledge of our ancestors and recover the wisdom that time has buried. Subscribe now and never miss another revelation. The past is not dead. It is not even past. And its greatest secrets are still waiting to be discovered. Your journey into the forbidden fathoms of history has only just begun. Click subscribe and join our community of truth seekers. Turn on notifications so you never miss when we unveil another mystery. Share this video with anyone who has ever questioned the official narrative. Comment your thoughts, your theories, your questions. We read every message and value every perspective. Together we are rewriting history. Together we are recovering what was lost. Together we are proving that the past is far stranger and far more wonderful than we were ever taught to believe. Subscribe now and become part of the Forbidden Fathoms family. The truth is out there, buried beneath the sand, hidden beneath the waves, waiting in museum basements and library archives, and we will find it together.